So, PVA bag rigs. I've been asked a couple of times now to show you how I tie them, what I put in them, when I use them. So now's as good a time as any really. I'm fishing at a place called Wintley Fisheries. I'm fishing up to a tree line on the far margin about 75-80 yards, right up to the trees, so PVA bags are perfect for that. Casting right in there, not worrying about what it's going to be laying on. You can hit the branches on the way in, it's going to stay intact. Really good tactic. What I put in them is different every time. In this instance, I'm actually using liquidized bread with a little white dumbbell fake plastic pop-up. Trying to snare them as they're coming past. It's on a little public lake, if you like, where people come and feed the swans and feed the ducks with bread, so a little parcel of liquidized bread I think will do the trick really well. In other circumstances I use things like CC Moore oily bag mix. One of my all-time favourites for a PVA bag, this one. It's got everything that you need in the bag, small pellets, big pellets, salmon fry crumb, it's all in there. I also inject that with hemp oil as well before it goes out to make it really oily and draw those fish down from the water columns. So whatever you want to put in it, you can do. You can make your own mixes, you can buy off the shelf mixes like that. However you want to do it, you can do it, but you can do it really cheaply like I am today. Like I say, all you've got to do is get a loaf of bread, liquidize it like that. What I'm then doing is I'm putting in a load of rock salt as well, so it's bread and rock salt going out there. But that's cost me about £1.50 to do a loaf of bread with the rock salt, so cheap as you like. Plastic white pop-ups, I'm using the corded dumbbell pop-ups, so really cheap days fishing bait wise. I'm going to show you how to tie it now. I'll walk through all the steps, the components that I use, how I tie it. It's quite precise how I tie a PVA bag rigs. They are pretty much all exactly the same. I always tie loads of them up as well, so you've always got spares lying around, so if you catch a fish you can cast it straight back out again, straight back on the spot while you're sorting your fish out. So let's get on to how we tie it. So here it is, this is my PVA bag rig. Really supple braid, as you can see there, that's really important. Don't use any coated braid or anything like that. It's got to be supple so it goes in the bag nicely and doesn't spool up when the bag opens up. I use the bait on a micro swivel on the shank of the hook there, as you can see. Keeps it really close, gives it a really aggressive angle as well. You can also use this as a wafter rig if you don't want to do a pop-up, you can do it either way. Curved shank hook, a little weight there beneath the hook, just obviously to keep the pop-up in where it is. Bit of putty or a little sinker halfway down the braid there, just to stop it spooling up like I say, and just keep it all flat in the PVA bag. Nice heavy lead, 3-ounce flat pear lead there, but you can see how most of the weight's tapered towards the bottom of the lead. That's so when the fish does pick it up, it's feeling that weight there before anything else. And then I use around about 8 or 9 inches of lead-free leader. That's so I can have loads of these tied up at once. Little loop on the end there, put a loop on the main line, I can just loop them together. And that way I'm fishing effectively and efficiently, not just waiting to catch the fish, bring it in, then put a PVA bag back on a wet rig again, have loads of them tied up at once. And I can have lots of PVA bags ready to go for feeding spell comes on. So there we go, that's the rig. Let's show you how to tie it. So the first thing you need to do is make your leader, and this is the bit that comes out the top of the PVA bag that you attach your main line to. In this instance I've actually pre-tied one. I'll do a separate video on how to splice lead cords and leads and things like that if I need to. It is quite fiddly and it's even harder when you're doing it behind the camera, so excuse me if I don't do it now, but I will do a video for you if it's something that you want. If you want it, let me know in the comments below. So what I've done is I've got some leader material. This is actually the Fox Submerge lead-free leader. I also use a Nash Klingon leader as well, whichever one takes your fancy. Like I say, you're only using it for that little boom section to come out that you can attach your main line to. I splice it onto a double rig ring swivel, like so. And then the other end is quite a large one, long one this is. The other end's just got a little loop on it. You can see it there. There you go, well, it's got a little loop on it there. I'll probably trim this down and make this one shorter. But there you go, so that's how you start. Now your actual rig that you're going to make is going to go onto this loop here. So it's going to be like that, and then the swivel is what will go inside the lead. So let's go on to making the actual rig now. Really simple, really easy. I'll talk you through it. So to make the actual rig section, you need a soft coated braid. Now I said before, don't use a coated braid, and that's quite right, you don't want to use a coated braid at all in a PVA bag. But I use the Conda, which is a coated braid, but I'm going to strip the coating off it. Now if you don't know what conda is, I've done a video about conda, which I'll put a link in the description to. Have a watch of it, see what it's all about, go and buy it, give it a try, it's fantastic, really good hook link material, and this just shows one of its many uses. So what I've done, I've already got here a length of the conda, stripped all the coating off it with a stripper tool, or use your teeth or whatever you want to do. Makes it really supple then. It's a really supple hook link material, really good. What you're going to do, it's as simple as most rigs. You're going to get your hook, which in this case is one of these here. Hybrid tackle, armour hook curve, size 6. Really important that you use this pattern of hook with this rig, just with how the hooking mechanics work on it. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to tie it as a knotless knot. So, in through the back of the hook, like so. Now I'm actually using a hair, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that little bit there like that. Ooh. Get that again. I'm going to hold that little bit there like that. What I'm going to do is 6 turn, knotless knot, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down once, and hold it all tight, back through the back of the eye, so it comes out the front. There you go, that's that bit done. This little tag end just here, get my scissors, and just trim it off like so. Don't worry about that just yet, because that'll get covered up in a second. So there we go, that's the start of it. Really simple. Next bit you're going to need to do is get a little bit of shrink tubing. Now, as you can see on the rig I've already got here, shrink tubing only comes out a little bit past the eye, if you can see there. So it just helps elongate the shank a little bit, but covers up the knot as well. Gives it better hooking properties. So, you get a little bit of shrink tubing. About just under a centimetre. Just like so. That threads on that end there. Ow, just hook myself. Take it down. Don't drop it off the end like I just did. Thread on. Take it down like so. There's there. Then you just need to moisten it a little bit to help it go on. A little bit of moisture on there. Can be a little bit tricky this point. There we go, just like that. I'm going to shrink that down in a minute, but don't worry about it just yet. So, the next bit you're going to do, move that out of the way, you're going to get your lead that you have handily tied up already, and on that second ring, just there, is where you're going to attach it. So, thread it through like so. Pick it up off the floor when you drop it, of course. Thread it through. Now at this point, this is where I measure it. So I'm going to get my little rig safe here. Now I measure this out to 3 inches, like that, which means when I tighten it up it should be at 4 inches in theory. So to tie the knot, form a loop like so, it the right way around. Like that. There you go. 1. 2. 3. One last time. 4. Like that. Moisten the knot down as usual. Tighten it all up. Pull it tight. There you go. Trim your tag end off. Now you effectively have it, that is your rig done, ready to go. What we're going to do now is we're going to steam this down so it shrinks on the kettle. We'll do that next, and then we'll put the rig ring and the hook bead on the hook. Ooh, steam. There we go. Just like so. Once you've got that bit steamed down, you've got the shrink tube on there like so. There's only a couple of steps left, to be honest. Next bit you need to do, micro hook swivel, a little one like that. Ooh. Thread that onto the hook like so. Then get a little hybrid tackle hook bead, they're clear. They grip really well too. So goes on like so. I generally have that set where the barb of the hook would be, so about there like so. Next bit to do is your counterbalance. Now I found these Corda plastic pop-ups, and with the size 6 hook, a BB shot does it perfectly. So, a little BB shot. Now it's in a PVA bag, so you don't need it too high. I have it about there. So, not too far, just so it's popped up enough. Squeeze it on with your teeth a little bit, not too tight, doesn't need to be on too tight. And that bit there. You can then put a little bit of putty on the middle there as well, just to make sure that the rest of it stays down while it's in the bag, and when the bag opens up it doesn't move or anything like that. And that there is the rig pretty much made. Really simple, really easy. So to put the lead in there, what you need to do is thread a tail rubber down the leader. Just a normal tail rubber. Straight down the leader. And then you take your lead, insert the swivel into the front of the lead like so. Push the tail rubber onto the back. Pull the leader nice and tight. And there we go, that's it set up. So then when the fish takes the bait, lead drops off like so. Really good system, really simple. There are some manufacturers that do specific things for this. I know Fox do something, I'm sure Corda do as well. But what I've found is that their systems only work properly with their own leads, which is handy. It's great if you want to use their leads, that's fantastic. Personally, I don't like to spend £1.50 on every lead. I buy mine in bulk online, about 50p a piece. A lot more affordable, a lot easier, especially if you're dumping leads on every take as well. And that's how I set it up, just like that. Keeps it nice and streamlined, keeps it all inside the bag, keeps it all nice, keeps it all tidy. and that rig there is ready to go. On there, like I say, you'll just put your little dumbbell on there, thread it on with a bit of bait floss, and then we'll put it in the PVA bag. So, and to fill your bag, you're going to need your PVA bag to start with. I use these ones here, quarter solids PVA Bag System. I use small and I use, that's a medium, that size is there. Medium, anything up to sort of 40-50 yards. Small, anything up to about 100-110 yards if you're lucky. They're the two sizes that I use. There's loads of people that make PVA bags now. Whichever one you choose is going to be perfectly fine. I just use the quarter ones because it's what I've used for a while. No real reason, I just saw them on the shelf and grabbed those ones. I like the size of them, and they've served me really well. So what you're going to need first is a PVA bag. Put those down there. I'm fishing, like I say, about 80 yards, so I'm using the small ones. You can give the instruction on how to film there, which is quite handy. A PVA bag, like so. Don't put it down anywhere wet for obvious reasons. And get that straight back in the packet as well. No damp can get in there and it can't ruin them for you. So there we go, we'll leave that there. So, one little PVA bag, so that's the small size. Now, on this session, as I said at the start of the video, I'm using liquidised bread. The warm sleeves up. I'm using liquidised bread and rock salt in my PVA bag mix, which is there. Little bits of rock salt in there. So far it's caught me a bream, so it definitely works. Maybe not a carp, but there we go. So that's what I'm using. And we're going to put that in the PVA bag with the quarter solid bag as well. You get this cool little scoop thing, which I find really helpful. It comes flat packed in the packet like that. Stick it together. Now I've broken it like so. Just helps you scoop it into the PVA bag. So the first thing you need to do is get some of that ready. This is going to be tricky on camera. Open up your bag. Helps if you're blowing it first. Just to open it up. Put some in first, like so. The good thing about bread, it compacts down quite well as well, so make sure it's all in the corners and things like that. There we go, just a little bit of a buffer there because the lead's going to go in first. We don't want the bottom of the lead breaking the PVA bag open. So this is where it might get a little bit tricky while it's on camera. So I take the rake and I hold it like that. So I'm just holding the lead. And then push the lead into the bag. Push it down. Now I keep it at one side like that, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. Push it right down. Move the tail out of the way. Then lift the bag up, like so. You can see there, you can play around with it while you're doing it as well. That's how it's sitting at the minute. Hold it by the corner where the rig is. Get some more of your magic mix, whatever it may be. And now it's just about filling it up basically. I normally do this on my knee, which is why it's a little bit strange for me. Pour some in there. Squish it down with your finger a little bit. Like so. Put a little bit more in there and then we'll get the hook bait in. So. Again, just a little bit more in there. See, it's starting to take shape now. Now at this point I get the hook, make sure it's not tangled around the lead inside, make sure it's looking like that, and then you just want to lay it down. Don't want it tangled around itself either. This is really important when you do this bit, so spend a little time on making sure your hook bait is presented well in the actual bag, because once it dissolves, if it's not presented well, then it's not going to be fishing right. So like so. So it's all lying flat on top of each other. And then it's a case of topping the bag up. A little bit more. Now at this point you would have a piece of PVA tape ready, or PVA string to tie the bag off, which I haven't done. I haven't got a piece ready, so it's going to make it all slightly more entertaining when I try and figure it all out now. So there we go, compact it all down. So it's about level with the top of the tail rubber there, as you can see. Now at this point I grip it like so. Give it a couple of shakes just like that. You don't want to compact it too much down when it's bred. You want it so when the bag melts it sort of explodes a little bit, which is why you don't want to compact it too hard. Once you've got it like that, simply twist. Make sure it's all straight onto that bit. Twist it like that. Now you need your PVA string, which I still have in my bag, so here we go. A little bit of this. There we go. Now you can lick your fingers and just twist it around if you want to. There's loads of different ways of doing this. This is just the way that I prefer to do it. So I take that underneath, like so, and I hold it out of the way, like that there. Grab the other end of the PVA. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times round. Once you've got the first one, it's not too hard then. Two. Just normal overhand knots. I do 3. Once you've got to that point, get your scissors and just tidy it up a little bit. So trim the PVA tape back, not all the way, just a little bit. And then on here, I cut down the inside, being careful not to cut your leader. And then pull the leader at that cut. Just take the top of the bag off like that. Keeps it nice and tidy. Now I should have filled this one up a little bit more, but as it's a demo one, it's not that bad. You put a little bit more in there. Now to compact it all down, push the corners in, get a little tag end like that, lick that, and then fold it over and stick it like so. Same with the other side, little tag, lick it, fold it over like so, and that there is your little PVA bag ready to be cast out. Now, I said before I'll put the lead on one side and I'll show you why. You can see the tail rubber here, so I haven't quite put enough bread in this one, to be honest, so I'd probably redo this one again. I wouldn't cast this out like this. But you can see how the lead's on one side there, like that. That means when it sinks and hits the floor, it's going to sit like that. And you can see the hook bait here, which will mean that'll pop up really well at the top of the bag. It's not going to get trapped underneath the lead or anything like that. It's going to sink down with the lead on that side, sit like that there. That'll spring up here, right on top of the bait, ready for the carp to come over, hone in on it, take the bait. And there's the little lead that I spoke about. Little loop on the end, which I'll loop to loop with the main line. And then on the main line, I actually put a little blob of putty up there just to help settle it as well. But there we go, it's as simple as that. I'll put one in the test tank now so you can see how it dissolves and how it works underwater. And you can see for yourself. So there you go, as you can see from that little footage in the test tank that I've done, it dissolves down really well, leaves a really visual little spot of bait on the lake bed with the pop-up sitting nicely above it. And here we have 2 finished bags ready to go. It's really good to have spares left over ready. So you've got some bags made up, sat there in a little bag, don't leave them outside in the open, put them in little bags and zip it closed. That way if you get a take, you can bring the fish in, loop to loop a new bag and get it straight back out there and then sort your fish out. Really effective fishing, really good for many different situations. Give them a try, tie a few up, see what you think. Any questions you've got, ask below. I'll put a link below to the Condor hook link video so you can see the details of the Condor hook link, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks a lot.